Hey guys, gonna install some rubber Cove Base today in my workshop. You can also see the box says wall base. I've always called it Cove Base. But anyways, picked up this color fawn from one of the big box stores. Kind of a nice in the middle color. They usually only have black and brown, maybe white, but this is a kind of a tan color. Goes really well with the floor, I think. And that's what we'll be installing today.
All right, let's talk about the tools and equipment you're going to need today. One, a handy workbench to lay it all out pretty. A box cutter and new blades. You're going to need a pen, pencil, Sharpie, marker, something similar. Tape measure, any measuring device will do. You're going to need the adhesive. I got 2 tubes from the big box store. You're going to need a caulking gun for that adhesive, unless you buy just a bucket. That's the optional spreader nozzle. And I also have an optional roller from a vinyl repair kit. Blowtorch, this is if we're going to try to get fancy and heat up the edges, shape the cove a little bit, and a bucket of water to cool down that cove once we heat it up. Okay, now you should have already taken some rough measurements of the room or rooms that you're going to be installing the Cove Base, so that you knew how much to buy. Similar to flooring, you may always want to add 10%. For any kind of stock loss you're going to have, trimming or cutting. Next thing I do is I start laying it out across the room. This kind of lets you see where your seams are going to be. It's very important that you don't end within a few inches of the corner, because you want to have good adhesive grip on both sides of those edges. They will be under a little bit of stress. You can also see here I'm kind of pulling the stickers off of the back of these pieces. They will affect the glue and adhesive sticking to the wall. So I go ahead and pull them off now. We'll fast forward this a bit, but I'm going to lay out around the rest of the room, and this way all the pieces are where I need them when I need them. All right, let's go ahead and get the adhesive ready. Go ahead and cut the tip off. Doesn't have to be pretty if you're using the nozzle. I'm going to go ahead and use the built-in poker here. Pop that seal. If you look at this spreader nozzle here, the ports are kind of only on one side, so just pay attention which way those are facing when you install it. All right, start spreading the glue out. I left a few inches from the end here because I haven't done the door trim yet, and I'll be cutting it away. So I'll temporarily hold that in place with tape, but I don't want it to peel part of the wall board off. So go all the way down to the other end. Stop maybe just about a half an inch or so. See the gaps at the top and the bottom. Those will get filled with glue as I roll it on. If you're doing it by hand, you just kind of work your hand pressure, but you'll get a little bit to squeeze out of the top, but you don't want too much or you're just wasting material. And we have come to our first corner. This one's an inside corner. These are going to be the easiest for you. So you go ahead and line up your next piece there, push it into the corner, and we're just going to take a little pencil, pen, whatever you got, make a little mark where that is. And then what we're going to be doing is making a line right down the middle, probably about halfway through the material. You got to be careful not to cut all the way through, But what this is going to let it do is give us that really easy flexibility into the back corner joint. The next cut you're going to make here is you're just going to take a 45-degree cut off of the bottom, the part where it's curved, and kind of fillets down to meet the floor. We're just going to cut a little corner out of that so when you press it in, it'll come together. All right, now this one piece here is actually going on the inside and outside corner, all one continuous piece. So I want to make sure I get all of these cuts done before we try to start gluing it up. So again, outside corner, start with a pencil mark. And on this one, we're going to still kind of cut down about halfway, but we're also going to shave off the edges kind of at a 45 degree to really allow it to bend around the corner. This is also where the optional heat source, propane, heat gun, something like that, and bucket of water will come in, is trying to flare the bottom out around the corner. You'll see some places commercial where people that do it really fast and that bottom corner just kind of gets sucked in and almost tucks under it. It's not usually a deal breaker for a lot of folks. Most will probably never notice it, but it's just something I want to try to do. I've never done it before, so we'll see how that turns out. But there's that cut all the way down, and then you can see we're going to be kind of shaving a 45-degree taper there. And we'll do this on both sides of that cut. They do make a special tool for this. I think it's usually called a gouging tool or Cove Base gouger or something similar to that. And you can basically just lay it flat, push it down across it, and it'll make that V-shaped groove. Now, I didn't have the time nor want to spend the money on a tool like that for this one project. Again, this whole room took me only about an hour. So didn't want to use extra tools if they weren't necessary. It does make it easier, but worst case here is you're going to cut all the way through it and you just grab an extra piece. It'll cost you $1 or $2. All right, here's where we're going to use the heating element. We're going to try to flare out that bottom lip a little bit. So heat it up. Don't want to burn it too bad. Careful, it's going to be a little warm, a little hot. But we're going to basically bend that lip out, and then we're going to try to flash cool it in the water there. And that should help it kind of stay out. Good enough. Let's move everything else out of the way, and we'll get this piece ready to glue up. just a quick note, you can see there that bottom lip kind of maintained its shape and kept a curve. Sometimes you'll see it tuck under itself or kind of look like a sharp 45 degree, but just that little bit of heat and prep made it look a little bit better, a little smoother. And then we're just going to roll out the rest. Alright, this just about wraps up the Cove Base install video. It took me roughly an hour for the physical installation. Probably spent about $100 of material on the Cove Base adhesive and the nozzle. Very easy. I definitely recommend trying it yourself. Don't be intimidated. Don't forget to like or subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to add suggestions in the comments for what you'd like to see next.